this is Patrick at 1CNC West, and what I thought I'd do today is demonstrate some more of the new 1CNC XR7 features. What we're going to focus on today are CAD features, and everything I'm going to show you is going to be available in all 1CNC systems. So it doesn't matter if you have Express, Advantage, Professional, Expert, makes no difference. You'll still have all of these features that we're going to talk about. So the first thing I want to talk about is something you may have seen in the past in other XR7 videos, but the ability to work full screen. So it's real easy now to collapse these side toolbars just by clicking on these little thin icons on either side of the screen. So if you want to work full screen, you definitely can. In fact, this is where the quick access toolbar comes in. Now remember, your quick access toolbar, I think this was introduced back in XR5, and this allows you to create a custom toolbar, and you can populate this with your most commonly used commands. So for example, if I wanted to add, if we go in here to shapes, if I wanted to add bolt hole, I just right hand click and it gets added to the quick access toolbar. If I wanted to add some verification commands, we could go to verify, and all you do is you just right hand mouse click and it will add those commands. If you want to add toolpath commands, just right hand mouse click and those commands will be added. So you can add geometric commands, verification commands. This is something that again has been available all the way through since XR5, but because XR7 now allows you to collapse these toolbars, you can now work full screen if you'd like. All right, so that's the first thing I want to demonstrate in this video. And again, this full screen option is going to be available in all 1CNC systems. So what's it like to work full screen using the quick access toolbar? Now I'm going to sketch a rectangle here. I'm just going to grid point snap to kind of speed things up here. Let's select the line command. Ultimately, I'm going to be making a solid model out of this. I'll say that looks fine. Let's come up to here. That looks good. Let's add some fillets. Now, I'm moving through this really quick, and you can see I'm not putting any parameters in. If I wanted to, I could open this up here, and then when I go into something like if we go back into fillet here, then I could access these parameters over here. Okay, so there's lots of versatility built in here. I'm just kind of giving you an idea of what can be done. Let's create a circle here. Let's quickly go to a top view. How about another circle here, but let's change the diameter and maybe change the location of that. Maybe put it right about there. Okay, so again, all I'm doing here is I'm just demonstrating working full screen. Now you might think of full screen mode as not being that big a deal, but once you see what it's like to use the entire screen for CAD and CAM, I think you'll immediately see the advantages to it. It's certainly something that I think is very nice. So let's go into cut, and I'm going to just cut right about there. And the reason why I'm doing this is I want to demonstrate another new XR7 feature within this video. Let's just drag it right about there. And let's finish this by creating a couple of chamfers. 50 thousandths is fine. So I'll put a chamfer on each one of those. All right, so the actual procedures that I'm doing here, the actual commands, these are things that have been available since XR5, but the ability to work full screen and work right off your quick access toolbar solely is something brand new to 1CNC XR7. Okay, so now that we have this, let's take a look at another feature. This is something else that's going to be available with all 1CNC systems. Express, Advantage, Professional, Expert, makes no matter what level of 1CNC you have or what discipline, whether it be lathe, mill, wire, profiler, or whatever, you'll still have this new feature as well, and it's called model colors. So what is model colors all about? Well, what this allows you to do is it allows you to color different faces on a solid model or different surfaces if you want to. And as I do this, I'm going to explain why this can be very beneficial. Let's go to color surface, and when I click that, we get a color palette here. I'm going to start with this purple, and all you do is you just left-hand mouse click on the face that you want. Now, because this is a solid model, let's grab the bottom there as well. Because this is a solid model, we're just coloring the faces. But what's interesting is it still remains one solid model. Now, the advantage to that is in the past, if we wanted to color surfaces, we'd have to go into our model operations and then perform a break into surfaces. But this retains the fact that this is still a solid model. So why would you want to color surfaces? What's the big deal about that? Well, it's more than just trying to make your solid model look more interesting. You can associate different colors to machining disciplines or tooling or possibly fixture applications. So for example, at your shop, you might say, okay, every time we create a solid model and we see that it's purple, we know that we need to use a 4-flute 750 diameter end mill. Every time we see yellow faces, we know to use a 1/2 inch 3-flute. You know, I'm just making those different parameters up, but you see where I'm going with this. The being the ability to colorize your different faces and surfaces are more than just trying to make the solid model, in this case, more interesting. Okay, there's definitely reasons for doing something like that. In fact, in previous videos that I've made in the past, you've probably noticed that I have had different colors on different surfaces, and I did that for machining. Just to remind me that all yellow holes are going to be drilled using a 3/8 diameter end mill, for example, or maybe all blue holes are going to be tapped with a 1/4 20. You know, it's really up to you on why you do that. It's more than just being able to color the solid model. Okay, so we talked about how we're just coloring faces here. Let me quickly demonstrate that. Let's just put a circle, and again, I'm just grid point snapping. I'll put a circle there, and why don't we cut this? And you can see inside here that the solid model is still the gray color, still the base color. So we're just coloring the faces there. All right, let's undo that. Let's take a look at some other features that are available within the new XR7 model colors. There's one here called Uncolor Surface, and that does exactly as you would imagine. You just left click and it will uncolor the whatever surface you click on there. I'm going to undo that with a Control Z. There's Remove Surface Colors. That's going to remove the surface colors from the entire model. So we can left click and you can see all the colors have been removed. I'm going to undo that with a Control Z. Control Z is just like hitting your undo button up there. Change base color. Now what this does is, this is kind of interesting. See how I have purple faces here and I have a purple face on the bottom? Well, if we go to change base color, and I'm going to select something different, maybe this light blue here. So if I select any one of these purple faces, all the purple faces will change to the new color. And so we can see that. That's been done there. So let's undo that. And then this option here called solid color or color solid, that's going to remove all these face colors and just recolor the entire solid model. So if we were to click this color solid, and let's go with this blue here, left click, and you can see now the entire solid model. In fact, if you come up here to select by color, you can see that it's just showing that one color there. Okay, so in this video, what we've talked about is we've talked about the ability now to collapse these side toolbars, which gives you the added benefit of using or working in full screen mode. We also talked about how the quick access toolbar can now be used if you want to work completely in full screen mode. And we also took a look at the new model colors features within XR7, and this allows you to color faces or individual surfaces a different color. And again, that's not just to make your solid model or surface look more interesting. You can associate things like tooling information, machining disciplines, and even fixture applications just based upon color. You can set your own standards up at your shop and use that. Okay, everything I've demonstrated in this video, this XR7 video, will be available in all 1CNC XR7 systems. Okay, and just one more thing really quick before I go. I was able to create a solid model because I'm using 1CNC Mill Expert. If I have Mill Professional, I can create a solid model. If I have Advantage or Express, I won't be able to create a solid model, but if I import a solid model into Express or Advantage, I can still use the model color features to change the color of faces and surfaces. And of course, you'll still have the ability to collapse the side toolbars. Okay, hey, thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.